Hi guys, welcome to math. So if you remember, today was a special day on our calendar. Do you remember what it is? Earth Day! It's Earth Day, right? We're very lucky to have this beautiful earth to live on with all these wonderful trees and animals and flowers and food to eat. Let's do our months of the year, shall we? Here we go. January, February, March and April, May, June, July and August. Yep, September, October, November, December. Those are the months of the year. And we know our month is still April. And what number month is April? 4. And we know yesterday was April 21 and today is April 22. Earth Day. And it's still the year 2020. You are correct. Let's do the days of the week. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. If yesterday was Tuesday, then today is Wednesday, right? And we spell it like Wednesday. We start with a capital letter because it's the name of a day. Proper noun. Today is Wednesday, April 22, 2020. And I have a question for you. How many days are in April? Right, there's 30 days in the month of April. I have another question for you. How many days are in a week? 7. You're right, 7. So if today is the 22nd, how many more days is it until the 29th? 7, because when we go down, that's just one more week, right? So 22 to 29 is 7 days. That's 1 week. So that's how we can tell if it's 1 week. Now, today is on a Wednesday, but what day is the last day of the month on? If we go up, Thursday. Yeah, that's the last day. Good job. All right, for our clock, let's start here. Let's start with the easy one. What time does this say? All right, good. So the little hand is pointing to the 2, and that's the hour hand. And the minute hand is pointing straight up, saying o'clock. It is 2 o'clock. Let's get a little bit more difficult here. Do you see this? All right, let's look at our hour hand. Now, it's between the 4 and the 5. It's almost to the 5, but not quite there, so we still have to go back to the 4. So it's 4 o'clock, and then to find out what the minute hand is on, we start counting at the 1, right? We count by 5s. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, right? So right now it is 4:50, but what happens if I move it up? Do you see those little tiny dots on there? Do you see? So it's 50, but each dot is worth 1 more. So 50, 51, 52, 53. So it is currently 4:53. Isn't time fun? I love time. All right, I am picking out of my coin cup, and today I have no quarters, but I have 2 of these guys. What is this one? A dime. How much is a dime worth? 10. And if I have 2 10s, that's 10 plus 10, and 10 plus 10 is 20. Very good. And I have 4 of these wonderful little things here. What are these? Nickels. How much are nickels worth? 5. And I have 4 of them. So if I have 20 cents, I'm going to count on by 5s. So I have 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. So far I have 40 cents. But I also have 4 of these. These are pennies worth 1. So I have 40 cents plus 41, 42, 43, 44. So I have 44 cents that I picked out of the coin flip today. Okay, kindergartners. Let's say we went to the zoo to see the zebras. And we're looking at the zebras and we see that there are 4 adult zebras. And we look closer and we see 3 little baby zebras, right? And so we're going to write 3. We see 4 adults plus 3 baby zebras. How many zebras total do we see? Well, I'm going to do the touch math. I'm going to put the dots on the smaller number, so 3 dots because it's 3. I'm going to say the bigger number and count on 4, 5, 6, 7. So at the zoo, we saw 7 zebras. Okay, now, I am drawing shapes. I am drawing different kinds of shapes. What kind of different shapes am I drawing? Do you see what kind of different shapes I'm drawing? Now you ask me, how many circles did you draw, Mrs. Kuzma? How many triangles? How many squares? Well, I'm going to make a bar graph to show you what I drew. So I'm going to make these 3, this is a graph. A graph shows information so that people can see clearly what you have done or what you have or what information you're trying to show. And people make graphs all the time for all kinds of different things. But right now my graph is showing you how many circles I drew. Well, I'm going to count how many circles I drew first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I drew 5 circles. So on the circle graph, I'm going to start on the bottom. Always start on the bottom, not the top. And I'm going to fill in 5 boxes because I drew 5 circles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I'm going to look at the triangles. How many triangles did I do? 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's fill in how many boxes? 4. Starting on the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I want to see how many squares did I do? 1, 2, 3. So I fill in 1, 2, 3 boxes. And by looking at this graph, I can say, you can ask me, well, which shape did you draw the most of? And I can tell by looking at this graph that I drew more circles. And which shape did I draw the least amount of? Right, the squares. And so that's a graph. A graph tells us information. So there's a whole bunch of different kinds of graphs too, but we're just doing that one today. All right, first graders, let's move on to yours. There were 2 groups of 10, and there were 6 singles. So how could I draw that? Well, I could do 2 groups. I like to do like this. And each group has 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then there were 6 singles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Or I could have done it tally mark way, right? Well, how many is that all together? 2 groups of 10, or 10 plus 10 is, good, 20. Just like we had 2 dimes, that was 20 also. Plus 6 more. What's 20 plus 6? You're right, 26. 10, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. We were right. Well, if I have 5 groups of 10 and 1 single, and I take away 10, how many do I have? Now there's 2 ways to do it. You can write it out like this and do the math, or you can just know 10 less than 50. So what do you think 10 less than 50 is? And then let's check your answer. So 1 take away 0 is 1. 5 take away 1 is 4. So we would have 41. And 40 is 10 less than 5, right? And then we just have to make sure we don't forget our 1. So 51 take away 10 is 41. What if we go the other way and we add, like 34 plus 10? This is just 10 more. So we go to the tens place and say, what's 10 more than 30? So what do you think? What's 10 more than 30? 40. And then we don't want to forget our 4. So let's check our answer. Let's see if 44 is correct. So we can add 4 plus 0 is 4. And 3 plus 1 is 4. 44. We were right. Good job. All right. So if I asked you to draw a three-sided shape, what would you draw? I would draw a triangle. That's got 3 sides, 1, 2, 3. And if I asked you to draw a 4-sided shape, you could do a square, a rectangle. It can even be like a weird one, right? It doesn't have to be normal. It can be any kind of shape, 4-sided shape. What about a 5-sided shape? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. An arrow. Maybe we could do that arrow. So when it's asking you to do different 5-sided shape, 6-sided shape, whenever it asks you that, just make sure that it doesn't have to be perfect like this, but it does have to have that many sides, okay? So when you're drawing that today, just keep that in mind. Okay, second and third graders, let's do yours. Okay, so you are also subtracting . Okay, can you take 9 away from 7? No, because 9 is bigger than 7, right? So 7 has to go next door and knock on his door and say, "Excuse me, Mr. 4, can I please borrow 1? And Mr. 4 says, "Oh, okay, absolutely." And he takes 1 away from him, and he gives that 1 for him to put in front of himself, which makes him a 17. 17 take away 9. Well, you can do that by starting at 9 and counting up to 17. That's what I like to do. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. How many fingers do I have now? 8. Right. And you know that 8 plus 9 is 17. That's how you can check it. What's 3 take away 0? If you have 3 and you don't take anything away, you still have 3. What's 2 take away 1? You have 2. Get rid of 1. You have 1. So you would have 138. If you had 247 and you took away 109, you would have 138 left. Okay. Do you remember we did north, the directions, south, east, and west? So what goes here? What is this called? Southeast. What is this called? Northeast. What is this called? Northwest. You're just putting these together. What is this called? Southwest. So you're just putting these two together to make that, right? These two together to make that. These two together to make that. And if you notice, north and south always go first when you're doing the directions like that. So they might ask you, like if I had letters, like this. T is north, and F is southeast, and P is southwest, and Q is west, right? So you're going to see them doing that with the direction. So you just have to know north, south, east, west, northeast, southeast, southwest, northwest. Just remember those directions and you'll be fine. You will get it fine. All right, this is a little bit more difficult. I think we need our calendar for this one. It says, what will be the date 2 years and 3 days from today? 2 years. So 2 years, it'll not be 2020 anymore. What will it be in 2 more years? 22, right? So I'm starting kind of from the back, 22. And it'll be 3 days from now. Today's 22. So 1, 2, 3. That'll be the 25th. But will it still be April? It's just 2 years and 3 days from today. So yeah, it will still be April. So 2 years and 3 days from today will be April 25, 2022. It's a little confusing, yeah. That one we'll probably have to practice a few times, but if you got it, excellent job. So it's time now. Oh, wait, one more thing. You'll see this, usually you do numbers and the alligator eats the bigger one, right? But this one is number of days in April. Do you remember? We did that in the calendar. How many days are in April? 30. Good job. So we know this side is going to be 30. And is that bigger than the number of cups in a gallon? Do you remember the number of cups in a gallon? 16. So, which side's bigger? The cups in a gallon or the days in April? The days in April. So the alligator's going to eat the days in April. And he's eating them fast because we only have 8 more days of April and then we have a whole new month. Okay. All right. Guess it's time to work on your worksheets. So have fun.